Hi guys, welcome back to Cupcakes and Protein Shakes. I am your host, Savannah. We're going to sit down with another athlete and we're going to get into her journey. She has a very juicy story, so I'm excited to talk to her and get to know her a little bit better. So welcome to the show.
Hi, thanks for having me. I'm so excited to share my journey with you.
Yes. Okay, so introduce your name and then tell me where you're from.
Okay, my name is Julie DeLuca. I'm from Chicago, Illinois, but I live in Naples, Florida. So
Well,
I'm kind of towards like Fort Lauderdale, Miami area.
I'm very jealous. Yesterday it snowed in Kansas City.
Oh,
So
wow.
we're in the middle of winter and I just went outside this morning. It's 20 degrees out. And I was like,
Oh my gosh.
it's so cold.
I'm going to the Arnold and I was looking at the weather. I'm like, I don't think I even have clothes for that. So I have to get a jacket and
Yeah, it's gonna be cold, but I'll be at the Arnold, so I will see you at the Arnold.
yeah, I'm excited. I'm going to actually talk to you about I need a new bathing suit. So
Okay, perfect times. So obviously you need a suit because you're competing. And where
yeah,
are you at now? Are you getting ready for show?
I'm yeah, I'm 16 weeks out. I actually just had my check-in this morning. So I'm getting ready for a kind of a warm-up show will be the first week of June in kind of near Orlando.
Okay, and what show is that?
Oh,
Do you know?
I'd have to look back at what the name of it is. It's actually a promoter I've never done before, but we needed something that was 4 weeks before because I didn't want to hang on to being stage lean for that long. So,
Got it. Okay. So this year, what are your goals with competing?
so this year, I really want to try and earn my pro card. So we're going to start at NPC Universe. Will be the first show. I am a masters competitor, so I will be by the time that show is, I'll be 45 years old,
Oh my
and started
gosh.
my journey when I was 43. So it's kind of
So
interesting. Yeah.
okay, I would not even guess that you were 35, like maybe. It's hard because everyone in the
I
sport
know.
looks so amazing. Like it's where that everyone's ageless that you walk around at
Yeah.
shows and you're like, I don't know how old anyone is. It's like we all are
Yeah.
shredded, lean, and shake. Like, I don't know. Are you
Yeah, and
master?
I
Are you
try and I emphasize that to people is since I started bodybuilding, I noticed, I mean, my skin, my hair, everything is better as long as you're doing it healthy and with a good coach, I think. I feel like I've only started looking younger and younger every year.
I 100% agree. It's like when I look back at some of my like younger pictures, like I looked fine, but now I'm like,
Yeah.
even though I'm older, and I'm like, I look way better. It's like I have my body's better, everything's better. It's like my skin's better, my hair, everything just looks so
Yeah.
much better. And it's think it is through bodybuilding, like what you're eating, it's cleaner. So it's just that makes everything like which when it's clean on the inside, everything else, hair, skin, nail, everything just starts growing. And okay, so your journey, it's only 2 years. Is that right? It's only 2 years old.
Really like a year and a half. So it was pretty fast. I
Yes.
can kind of I listened to a lot of Adam and Ashley's episodes, and like they say, I did come into the sport with a little bit of a benefit. So I started probably when I was 40 doing CrossFit and
Okay.
picked that up pretty heavy. So I came in with a lot of muscle.
Yeah.
So even when I started, when my coach and I first started like interviewing, I didn't know where I wanted to go. If I wanted to go bigger or do bikini, because I didn't really know much. So when we started, we kind of had to see where my body was once I took off some of the weight. Like it was
That's uncommon. It's really
yeah,
rare that you come into sport bodybuilding with a lot of muscle. Like
yeah,
it's kind of a backward. You kind of did it backwards where you built the muscle and then you cut.
Yeah.
In the sculpting specifically for bodybuilding, because a lot of girls come in and they have some, but they still need to add more or specific to the muscle group. So it is rare if it's good. Like obviously your
Yeah.
journey is fast and it's going fast because you need the muscle. Like part of bodybuilding is it's having muscle. And so I think a
Exactly.
lot of athletes kind of skip out on that part. They don't understand.
Mhm.
Might just use it as weight loss, which is fine.
Yes, I get that all. I mean, I have people reach out to me, come up to me at the gym. Oh, I want to look like you. I want to lose weight. How do I lose weight? And it's just, you really want to stress like having more muscle mass is what will, you know, I don't know, help you lose more weight. Like,
Yeah,
I think, I don't know. And, we have to preserve it as bodybuilders, especially when we start like cutting down. So I'm like 5'10" and a quarter. So I have to get almost bigger than other competitors, because once I lean out, I can look really stringy on stage, which is what we saw at my first show, which was
yeah,
the Clash. So I was in front of Sandy, my very first show. It was huge. I was like, oh my gosh. I didn't really know what I was doing on stage yet. I had a posing coach, but still just I think you really have to do a show, get through that first one, and then you're like, oh, okay. But she was so sweet. She reached out, and she was like, you really have a great structure, but you are way too conditioned. You do not need to be that lean. And I think that's something that my coach, Derek Nature, Woodloud, we had to really work together to figure out that balance of like the fullness and, still kind of working on it. But, oh, shoot. Sorry, something fell over there. We've had to really like play around with my calories, making sure I'm eating enough, and getting into the sculpting just certain areas. So definitely the glutes. She was like, you need to grow your legs and your glutes. So I
yeah.
didn't have that really. Like, I don't
Okay.
think anybody really has
No.
huge glutes, especially when you're, this tall. So we really had to do like a glute transformation.
Yes. Okay. So this is interesting because like your journey is fast. You came in with muscle, and then your first show, you got feedback that you were too lean, which
Yes,
is
two conditions. Yeah,
it's rare. I think a lot of athletes, it's the opposite, where it's, get leaner, more muscle, whatever. But
yeah.
it's an easy and it's a hard fix because the
Hmm.
line between too lean and too full is
Yeah,
thin. It's a
especially
very,
being my age. I mean, a masters competitor, I can't put on a ton of weight, especially in the off season. I just can't because of my age and like the skin and everything looks different. And we do look a little harder,
yeah.
especially under those lights. I was like, when I saw the pictures, and I think when Derek saw the pictures, we were just like, okay,
Mhm.
we get it. And I had signed up for a show 4 weeks later. So I was like, even though I know my glutes aren't quite big enough, we filled me out. We fed me a lot. And the next show I did end up winning my class. So it
See,
was,
it's a peaking thing too. Like when
yeah,
you just don't know, like the first show, you don't know how your body's going to respond, and you don't know what the judges like on you, because there's certain
yeah.
athletes that they like leaner, and there's certain
Hmm.
athletes that they like a little fuller. So
Hmm.
I think I personally like the strategies that me and my coach have always done, like at the very beginning, first of the year, first of the shows, come in too lean, just
Hmm.
because it's easier to fill out and it's a lot harder to keep getting lean throughout the year. So it's almost you get a little too lean for the first one, and then you kind of fill yourself out a little bit, and then see if
Yeah.
you any room for improvement. It's like, okay, that was too much. And then you kind of find the Goldilocks of, okay, we know
Yeah.
what poundage, or we know the weights, we know the carbs that we did. And then they told you we're too lean, so we're not going to be that weight anymore. And now maybe we were a little too full, or we could have filled out a little more. So you take that feedback, and it sounds like you kind of already knew your weakness, which a lot of athletes,
Yes.
you should know your weakness if you don't.
Mhm.
And like you can use certain things like filling out, having more carbs to
Yeah.
improve your physique. And that's only in 4 weeks. It's not like you had a huge transformation. It's small.
No, it was like I think it was like a 2 or 3 pound stage difference.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and it was good, but I still was like, okay, so we took, so then I was like, just because of my timeline is because I'm older, I really wanted to do this fast. So I was like, I want to compete again this year. And he was like, you really have to grow. We're going to have to see an explosion. We're going to have to give you a lot of food, and we're going to have to really, really push it at the gym. And I was like, I'm ready. I love training. And I was like, I want to do this. So I signed up for the Atlantic Coast Tim Gardner show in November.
Okay.
And that was my goal. I was like, I want to win masters. I want to win my class, and I want to know that I'm ready to then go to nationals this year. So we started pushing, and it was crazy. I think I put on like, we really upped my calories. I think I was, ooh, I can't remember the exact number, but I know my carbs were well in like the 300s,
Well,
the
that is
protein
high.
195, and really pushed it. Everything was like to the glutes, to the glutes. And went into that show, and my transformation pictures are like night and day. It was really cool to see. And so I did end up winning masters, and then I won open as well in my height
Congratulations.
class. So it was really cool. Yeah.
Okay, so just before we like jump more into the details, can you talk about the process if you are a master's athlete, where and how you can earn your pro card? Because a lot of athletes don't know the difference between where you can turn pro as a master's versus an open category.
Right, right. And I had to learn all this. I really didn't know all this. So as a master's, we have to go to Universe. I know they have a master's category there.
Yeah.
And I think there you have to win first or second in your class, in your age group. So I'll probably do 40 to 45 and 45 to 50.
Yeah.
And then there's Masters Nationals in Pittsburgh after that. So we don't have yeah, we can't go. I mean, sorry, I have to get some water. We can't go to the regular. I mean, I guess I could compete in open, but it is we look different. And I noticed that in the last show when I was against I won my height class. But if you put me next to those girls, they were all in their 20s, I think mostly 20s.
Yeah.
And I definitely look very different next to them. So I knew when I went out for the open, he moved me right in, but the girl that won, I was like, it's not really a comparison of our physiques.
It's different. And I've noticed that too. So open categories is anyone 34 and under, technically
Under.
is opens. But just because it is the majority of athletes, you can, as a master's, you can be any age and enter the open. It's just
Right.
for the age groups, it's going to be I guess, younger athletes are in the open class, but you
Mhm.
can definitely, if your physique is amazing, you could be 35 and enter open. And it's really, I mean, it's a small difference.
Right.
But then it's that jump into master's category. So now that you're 35, then you can enter master's classes, but then they go up by 5. So there's master's 35 to 40, and then it's increments of,
Mhm.
is it increments of 5? So it's like
5. Mhm.
we got 30 to 40, then 40 to 45, then 45 to 50, then 50 to 55, then 55 to 60. And don't I don't think there's a 65. There might not be, but there
I don't
maybe.
know. Yeah,
But that's how it works. So you can always compete down. You can't compete up, right?
correct. Yeah.
So if
So it's
you,
like I always try to like compare myself though when I do the local shows, compare myself to the younger athletes just to see,
yeah,
you know, and
yeah, because sometimes
um
you can beat them, and that feels really
yeah.
good.
Yeah. So I'm really excited to go up against some of the best in my age group. I
Yeah.
think it'll be interesting to see like myself next to other 40 and 45-year olds and
Yes.
um I'm excited. I mean I hope that I can achieve it this year, but I really am just like excited for to see, yeah, to put myself up against the best.
Yeah. And okay, so like we were saying though, for physique differences. So as
Mhm.
you age as a female, I think this is something that I've experienced of being like too soft. And I don't think it's because of conditioning. I was as lean as I possibly could. I
Yep.
think it's based on skin thickness, getting
Yes. Yeah.
thinner as you age naturally.
Hmm.
This
Yep.
happens. And then muscle density. So
Yeah.
there's like a different look. It's a harder look when you're,
Mhm.
I think it doesn't really happen until like 40s ish, 40
I
plus.
think 40. I think 40 is when I noticed it.
And it's something, I
Yeah.
think it's probably hormonally or skin, where like the skin is getting thinner, but the muscles are denser at the same time. Because a lot of
Right.
athletes, around 40, you've been training for, a little while, or you just have muscles that have aged. So that combination of having a little thinner skin, but having the denser muscles, when your muscles, when you get lean, you can really see it. You can really see
Yeah,
the
I mean, you can see like every striation. It's it's
uh-huh.
it's pretty cool, but then we really have to be careful. We really have to fill out. It's
Yeah,
like yeah, right now I'm still, oh my gosh, I think I'm at like 50 grams of fat, 320 carbs,
it's a lot.
one, yeah, 190 grams of protein. It's a lot of food. It's to where I'm like, okay, like every day. So he started putting in some free meals too, so that some days I don't have to consume as much food, but just get in some denser meals. So it's nice. It's been nice kind of finding a balance where I don't have to be like stressed out so much about food.
Yeah.
But I have to be really careful because I'll just like I don't it's hard for me to keep the weight on at this point because with all the muscle and the training and my age, it's stress,
Well,
everything, life.
okay, so
So
now going back to you and your glute transformation, I want to
yeah,
know what you did in the gym
okay.
specifically to make those glutes pop.
Okay. So a lot of it I found was the mind to muscle connection.
Okay.
Um, a lot. And my coach actually used this machine. I forget, it starts with an N, I should know, like newbie machine or something. It's where they put I've
Yeah,
seen Adam's wife has put it on before, but you like put it on sensors on the actual glutes and the muscles
yeah,
and you do like a lighter weight, but you really feel, okay, that's exactly where I want to concentrate on working that muscle during that exercise. So it was so neat to learn the bodybuilding, because coming from CrossFit, we would just pick up as heavy as weight as we could, and you move it however possible. So if we're using our traps, if we're using our core, any way you can, your legs to move that weight. But so learning like focus just on that muscle, like really concentrate, not how much weight can I get on there, but really making sure I feel every single exercise when I'm going through the motion. And then I'll, have days where I would, you know, be under really heavy weights, but I wanted to make sure I was working the exact muscle group.
yeah, that makes sense. Because it's not always hitting, you can't PR every time. Uh, you,
No.
and when you get super depleted, like you don't have the energy. So you have to
Mm,
have that mind muscle. It's that squeeze, like learning to
yeah.
squeeze that right. the right spot and go slow enough where you aren't just throwing up the weights. Cause you know, you could just throw up weights but you're not going to get
Mhm.
that sculpting, like really targeting and going really slow. And it's something that you learn from bodybuilding. Okay. You can't just work out like
Yeah.
crazy. You gotta
Yeah, I see
actually,
people at the gym
I do
doing that,
too.
girls, and I want to walk over and be like,
I know. Stop. It's like,
really? You're just
oh,
going through the motions. Yeah, slow
I
down. Like,
know. And I see women like they have really, really low weights, like 5, 10 pounds, which is fine. And they're doing like squats or something, or like squash with
yeah,
these dumbbells, and they're just jumping up, they're going so fast. And it's just
yeah,
like, okay, we gotta pick what we're doing. We're doing low weights
yeah.
and
Let's start
we're going,
over.
or we're going really fast with low weights. We gotta, okay, maybe we increase it a little bit, go slower. If you're gonna keep that weight, like go real slow and squeeze. Like we can't just
Mhm.
be like, woo. So
Yeah,
it's one thing too, like just learning how to specifically hit the glutes. So newbie
yeah, and
fit,
like taking your kind of like taking your gym ego out of it. So
yeah,
that was like a big thing for me because I was used to like, wanting to lift the heaviest um, and I had to find a new gym too, which was kind of
okay,
interesting. So I was at like one of those, bigger Globo gyms, and I had to look around and find like a bodybuilding gym where there wasn't distractions and people weren't coming up to me. I wasn't worried about like men staring and things like that because we have to do a lot of weird things with our glutes and you can't be worrying about other factors in the gym. So I
I
found a
agree with
really
you.
great
Yeah,
gym that has all like the booty builder equipment and people are there to train,
yeah,
not socialize. So I was able to get my training done faster too
got
without
it.
all the stuff in the background.
I think that's important. The gym that you select, it does make a difference in the time of day. And I've noticed that recently. So I go to
Yeah.
a commercial gym, and sometimes I don't go until after work. So that terrible time to go. It's the 5 to
Yes.
6 p.m. window where everyone and their mom is at the gym, and there's like 5 people on one machine. It's hard to get equipment. So you're
Mhm.
not going in order. Your rest periods are kind of
You're
all
like
over the
losing your
place.
pump. Yeah.
Yes. And people are
Yeah.
just talking and using your machines and everything. So that's something that I've been actually looking for to try to find a bodybuilding gym. And it does make a difference because when you can just focus on training, that's what you need, that mind and muscle. There's no distraction. It's just, okay, I can squeeze, I can feel it. But then if you're thinking, okay, I gotta go find that, like I gotta get the equipment and the whole
Yeah.
there, your brain's all over the place. Like if you're really bodybuilding to sculpt, you have to focus. You have to focus on
Mhm.
exactly what you're doing when you're doing. You got to time your rest periods. You got to go in a certain order. You want to make sure, like, when you have that pump and you're feeling it specifically in the glutes, like whatever you're
Yep.
doing at that point, keep doing it.
Yeah. And like warming up. So I've learned to kind of like warm up with bands and really like fire up those glutes before I start. So that
Got
I'm
it.
like, okay, if I'm working the upper glutes, I need to do this band work first. And it lets my body know, okay, this is what we're doing today. Like, I do that a lot with my shoulders too. I have such long muscle bellies, as my coach says. I guess that's how you say it. So like I really have to pump my shoulders up.
Is
Otherwise, yeah, it's just
that backstage? You do a big pump up too?
for my shoulders, yes, I have to. Yeah. We don't do the glutes though at all. Just
Really?
because then I'll start to like striate
Oh,
in
okay.
my so I want that
Look,
fuller look in my glutes.
interesting. And do you feel like it's harder for you because you are taller?
Yes. Yeah. It's so hard when I compare myself to people. I'm like, "Ah, like I know I have more muscle than her and I know, but she appears more muscular. So that's when, Derek explained to me, yeah, we really have to put on more mass, especially I think I went when I started with him, it was a 20-pound difference when I got on stage.
Whoa.
So, I'm sure I lost some mass, but it was just a learning experience. So
What were
when I
your
went,
stage weights?
okay, so if I'm 5'10" and a quarter, my first stage weight was 139, which is like, so I did not
That's
look
lean.
in
Yeah.
person, I did not look good. I remember putting on like sweatshirts and kind of covering at the end because I was like, I don't want people to think I have like an eating disorder or
Yeah, that's
um
for your height, that is pretty lean.
small.
Yeah.
So then I think then we went up to 142 or 141 for the next competition. And then my last stage weight was 144.
Okay, I'm really glad that you brought this up
Mhm.
because progressively you probably looked better even though your
Oh
weight
my
was
gosh. Yep, so much. And I'm thinking we might even be one or two. We'll have to see. But I'm only like depends on the day. I would say 7 pounds above stage weight
okay,
is
you're
where I
close
sit.
then. Yeah.
Close. So shouldn't say this, but my preps are usually pretty easy just at the end. We'll really dive in and
Yeah, you're not
I
doing
don't do any cardio.
yeah,
He
like it
took all
doesn't
my card he took all my cardio away because he's like, you need to just we want all this food going to your muscles to
yeah.
growth. So it's
Are you
hard. It's hard to be like not feel super athletic right
are
now.
you
But
okay, so for like work, like are you active? Like do you get a lot of steps?
yeah, I have my own business. I own a clothing store. And so in Naples, especially right now, we're in season. So I am walking around all day.
Okay.
And I am also a single mom of 4 children. So I am, yeah, I'm constantly on the move until I hit the bed at night, which is like, I go to bed at like 9 o'clock. Like when I shut my door and they're all like, okay, mom's in bed, don't bother her, and that's
How old
my
are your
time.
kids?
I have twins they just turned 14. They're boys. And then I have a daughter who just turned 12 and another little boy who just turned 9.
How do you do it all?
Well, this is one of the things I kind of wanted to get into because I know people are like, "Oh, well, I can't work out. Like I have kids or I have a job." And I'm like, I have those.
Yeah.
Um, I think I think maybe if they were younger, it would be a little harder. Um, but bodybuilding has actually helped me because now I'm so routine. And I noticed when I started it, like everything improved in my life, like being a mom, my business improved, like everything because I'm so focused and clear, um, and healthy and feel great. And I kind of have a drive and something I'm working for. And it's my kids get to see that too. Like she can be a mom, but she can also have this like fun hobby that she loves. It might embarrass them sometimes.
Yeah.
the boy, the boys with the social media, they're like, "Mom, don't post that." Or
I know, like look at my mom's butt. Like
yeah, so I try now not to do like the turnaround pose. I'll do like other ones unless it's stage photos, but um I try not to. But sometimes you're like, I want to show like my shape. It's so cool.
so, okay, in your household, what is conversations of food and exercise like?
Okay. It's funny because I remember when I started all this, they were like, "You eat so much." My daughter said, "You eat so much, but you are so thin." And I was like, "I'm glad you noticed that because that's what it takes is um we talk a lot about like metabolism and like my body because I eat so much and because I never crash dieted or did my whole life. I never really like did any of the fad diets or restricted food. So now that I really watch, my metabolism is like in high gear. And the boys, I'm always explaining they're in sports and we talk about protein and eating and they eat really healthy. They do. I'm kind of
Yeah.
lucky.
That's great because like you were saying, I think a lot of people want to use their kids as an excuse of, oh, I need to focus on them. But you can do both. Like, what if you were able to do
Well,
both and do it really well? Because like bodybuilding, you find a way, and that is sometimes early mornings or late nights,
yeah.
getting the sleep, it's a priority. Everything's a cycle. Like mom has to get up at this time to make sure
Mhm.
our cardio done. And like
Yeah.
being a role model for like your kids when they're seeing it, you don't have to say much. You just,
No,
this is what mom
no,
does. You can pick if you want to have junk food, whatever, but this is what I do. And then like your daughter, I think that's so important to notice of she's eating more, but she's still like looks good. Like I don't
yeah,
think we teach kids about that. Like I never got educated of if you eat more, you can still look good. No, I don't think that was ever a conversation.
no.
It's
I
always,
remember thinking like when I was her age, like maybe a little older, but I remember like she's in sixth grade, but I remember thinking like you're supposed to eat like a salad, right?
yes, a
Or
salad.
yeah, like a salad. And I don't know, like that's what we thought was healthy then. And I do think like the world has kind of changed and there is more information out there with the internet and everything. But um yeah,
Yeah,
it's pretty neat to see. But they also see that I don't sit there and say like, oh, I can't
yeah,
eat that, or I don't do like the fear of food. They just know I like to eat healthy. And I do like when we have a free meal, it's kind of like a fun, like most of the time I include them in it so
yeah,
that I'm like, where do you guys want to go tonight? Derek said I can go get a hamburger.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
or
It's fun. Like it's fun just to celebrate together. And I always like to make sure that I don't eat my free meals by myself. Like somebody eats with
yeah,
us because it's not rare. We eat so clean that when we get to have a little something, it's like, oh, it's a special thing. And it's
yeah,
really fun when you can start to celebrate with other people too.
yeah.
Okay, so you own a clothing store and we're competing. What is your like ultimate goals to do with your pro card? Are you planning on like keep going?
It's so funny because when I started this, it was like, this is going to be a bucket list thing. Like, I want to learn about health. I want to see,
Yeah,
and now it's like I have that competitive drive in me and I really enjoy this. So as long as I enjoy it, I think I'm going to keep going. Yeah,
yeah,
it's funny. I just had that conversation with my coach. He's like, once you do earn the pro card, then it's going to be almost like back to, where then we're going to have to probably grow even more and back to then you're at the bottom again. And I was like, that's okay. I run a, I want to use it to like travel too. I think it would be really neat to go to even just another state or, um, and do like shows different places.
yeah. I always try to pick shows that are semi vacations and fun locations because why not? Like, why not do both and
Right.
stay a little extra and kind of make it fun the day after if you can, or
Mhm.
just experiencing some of the cool gyms out there. And like
Right. I
that gets
know.
me excited. Like, ooh, look at this fun gym and
Yeah.
all this fun equipment. It's like that's exciting for me. And being in destination places. But that's the beauty about competing. There is a show every single weekend across the whole world, so
Mhm.
you can pick where you want to go and um, travel with your friends, family, and just meet a ton of different people through it. So I'm really excited to see like where that takes you and like
Yeah, I think when I met you, I was with at the Olympia, I was with a girl on my team
yeah,
and we met. She lives in West Virginia and we met and we like literally were like best friends now.
yeah.
And so we met there and she's meeting me at the Arnold. And it's exciting.
Yeah, that's what happens. It's weird because I don't have a lot of close friends that do this where I
Yeah,
live.
no.
No,
Yeah.
no, there's
Me
nobody.
either. They're all like, you're crazy.
Yeah, you're freaking weird. But then you realize when you start going to different events, it's like, oh my gosh, there's more of us. There's more of us.
Yeah.
And
Everyone's excited about like a new, yeah, we talk about like silly things. Like we get excited about little things. I was just telling her, I'm like, I can't wait to make a new bikini, like I'm excited.
yeah, it's the fun part of competing. It's like you do get to have a lot of girls don't get their hair and makeup done except for maybe their wedding and prom or
Mhm.
those are like the two times in your life that you're probably gonna pay for hair and makeup, but competing that's one place where you can feel like a beauty queen. You have your
Yeah.
tan, you got your hair, you got your nails, you got your face, you look amazing. You're in a sparkly bejeweled bikini. You get all these
Mhm.
pictures of yourself. Like it's just it's such a fun time. Like and it's memorable. Like every single time you go on stage, you all like I always have a great time backstage, like with everyone
Yes.
that you're meeting and that drive where it's it's a you versus you show because
Yes.
all right, this is what I looked like before, where it's an
I want
experiment.
to do a little better this show, or this is my
Yeah.
goal this show. Yeah, like the last show, I just wanted to win masters. I was like, I just want to win my age, like up there. And like when I went out there, I was like, they put me right in the center. I think there was two call outs for masters at that show. And then I realized I'm like, oh my gosh, they're not moving me. Like, and then you're just standing there, and I was just like, oh my gosh. And then I got off. I'm like, I think I did it. And then I was like, okay, I have to go up now against the young ones. And
Yep.
and same thing. I was like right in the center, and I was like, this is just. It was really cool. But other shows where even my first show, like I remember feeling bad for the girls that I could tell weren't enjoying the experience, like having fun. And I don't know, it's like you're probably in it for the wrong reason at that point. I don't
Yeah.
know. I always want to tell people, even the last show, I remember this girl, I saw her throw her medal. I think it was, yeah. So I was just like, I can't believe that, because it's just sad to me. I think show days should be fun.
I agree. I saw this one girl backstage. She got off, she got like third. She literally threw her flowers in the trash or whatever.
It's
And
like, even
I
to get up there, you should be like, I got up there
and
and
I was like, I'm like genuinely congratulations. Like I'm not saying that to be petty or mean. I'm like actually happy for everyone. So I was
Mhm.
like, congratulations. She's like, why? I should have won. And I
Yeah, that's what this girl said to me. Well, I've never had that happen before. Like, I was
yeah.
like, whoa.
And if you're listening to this, it's important to yes, set your goals high. And yes, we put a lot of money and time and effort, and there's emotions are high, but never
Yes.
expect that you deserve anything. You don't deserve anything. And
No.
it's hard to conceptualize if I work hard, I should deserve this. That's kind of how we've like if you played sports, right? The person that
Hmm.
makes the most points wins.
Wins.
Bodybuilding
Yeah.
is subjective. So, yes, you could have worked the hardest, whatever that means, but that
Hmm.
doesn't guarantee you anything. It could be
Yeah.
the best shape of your life. And
Yeah. You could be the best version of you. And that's kind of what, if you know, like, this was great for me. Like, this was the best prep I've had. I look the best I've ever looked. I feel like that should be like
yeah,
winning in yourself. I mean, of course it's great to win, especially when you're on. I mean, I'm on a fast track right now. I'm trying to go super fast. I'm not 20. I'm not 30. I'm going to be 45. So I am on a faster track, but otherwise I would tell these girls enjoy it. Like,
yeah,
you have so much, and a lot of them probably haven't even had children yet, or it's like you have to think I kind of have done all that.
yeah.
Um, So yeah, I think just talking about it, it's like it's totally different as a masters competitor, because we're usually in it for like different reasons, but then it changes. Now I'm like, okay, now I want my pro card.
Right. It does. Your reason for doing this sport, no, I mean, whatever age it is different, right? Like whether you are, just trying to do it to win or a personal journey or doing it as motivation in the gym or, just to push yourself mentally. There's not a lot of places in life that you can
Yeah,
push yourself to these mental tests. The prep is the only thing that I've ever
yeah,
experience where I can feel really good for every day, every single
Yeah,
day.
you're like, I got through that day. Like I did that. Like 99% of the population cannot do this mentally. Like I think it's and people will point that out. I'm sure people say that to you. It's like we have to have um not only do you have to be tough in the gym, you really have to be have it clear up in your head and be mentally tough and strong and ready for a prep. Because if you go into a prep and you're not, everything's not good, you can get thrown off fast.
Yeah, and I've had that happen where I went into a prep a little bit too early, and
Mhm.
it was my metabolism was in a great spot. I was gonna have to push harder than I should have. I should have took more time
Yeah.
off, but mentally I still didn't give myself that break that I needed to get excited for it again.
Yeah.
I right now I'm so excited to start the cutting process. I still have a couple months left of my bulk, but
Yeah.
I'm rested. I've had all the foods and all the fun. I've had a lot of strength in the gym. And so when I start my next cut, I am gonna take that energy and be able to
Yeah.
get through a 3 to 6 month suck, right?
Yeah.
I've had it'll be, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 months, something like that, almost close to a year where I've had mentally off, and then you can focus on getting like your body just is under prep is stressful. It's not it's fun, but it is stressful even if you
It
don't
is
think.
stressful. And I mean a lot too is the like social aspect and like the you have to kind of at the end you're like I feel like I'm always in prep, like I have been, but like not that last part, not that really. I would say for me, it's probably like a 10, the last 10, 8 to 10 weeks. But it's like you can't just like go to, I mean, it's just you can't just go out to dinner or just join everybody wherever they want you to join them. And like you have to be in bed at a certain time.
Yeah,
Everything is important. The water, the where when you're like in that the grow phase, you can be a little more lax and you have
yeah,
room and you
yeah.
should, you know?
And I that's what I like now. It's that now in my off season, I do decide like if I get a craving, I have the calories to be able to put it in
Yeah.
and not feel guilty for it, but
Yeah.
still stay on track with my like macros, or I have that, once a week refeed. So I can flexibly, if someone wants to go out to eat or breakfast, or
Yeah.
someone brings donuts to the office, guess what? I can have it and I don't feel like I'm missing out. I'll just use
Yeah.
that as my refeed calories that day, and that's
Yeah.
that. But when
And
you're
know that in the morning the scale might show a little bit of water weight, which is I've had to learn a lot about the scale and
yes,
not focusing on it. My coach is always like, do not let me worry about the scale. Do not worry about it. And I've noticed like it can be like 2 pounds up, 2 pounds down, like in 2 days. Like and
yeah.
it's just not important until that very end, and still it's not. It's more the look.
Mhm.
It's the
It's
look.
not. And it took me a long time to realize that too. The scale is always a struggle, and it really
Yeah.
shouldn't be. But as I've been doing this, so you were talking about your weight going up for every single show. That's happened to me. I was started 130, then it was 131, then 133, then 135, then at my very leanest, best, most muscular 137.
I
Then
saw that and I was like, and you
yes.
posted that and I was like, and you look better.
Yes, yes. And I
Like,
looked harder, I looked
yep.
leaner, but my shape had changed, and it was the heaviest I'd been on stage, a whole 7 pounds within, 6, 7 years. And now it's even going, it's a little bit different now because I'm in a different organization, but even
Yeah.
then, I ended up going to 147. It was a 10-pound difference between one show to the next show. And then I cut down to 141. And so just same, I'm just trying to figure out what that looks like. And even now in my improvement season, I'm at my heaviest weight I've ever been in my whole life. I've been this weight once before, but I did not have this much muscle. So it's a different
Mhm.
shape.
It's different. It's a different, yeah. It's like, have you ever looked at pictures? And I remember my coach once, because this was during like that grow phase between, yeah, before the November show. And he showed my weight at 1. 50 at two different times to kind of show me,
Yeah.
like, this is you at 150 when you first started. Now look at you at 150. And it was like, oh my gosh, like we don't see it.
No, you
Um,
don't, you can't. It's hard. That's why those progress pictures, they're so important because you do get
yeah,
progress. When you just
yeah.
look at your physique, and when you think about the scale and you just see the number, you get attached to these random numbers. We
I
just
know.
attach.
It's like, why am I attached? Like, why am yeah, you have to talk to yourself a lot.
You
Like,
just think
stop.
you just I thought I needed to be 125 pounds. And that was I didn't, that number just I just pulled it out of the air, thin air.
Yeah,
I
like, where
thought,
did we get this number from? Right?
well, I saw a lot of other IFBB pros that was around their stage weight. So I go, oh, that's what the pros are. That's what I should be. So then I thought
Mhm.
I need to be that, but I didn't realize, okay, these girls are 5'2", 5'1", 5'3", 5'4", 5'5", and I mean, I'm still shorter than you. I'm 5'7", I'm almost 5'8", but
But it's
still,
still tall. I
yeah,
mean,
and it's still, and so I was like, I found a people, so I even found girls that were my height, but their stage weights were my stage weights. So I'm like, well, I guess I have thicker bones. I don't know.
yeah.
I don't know, but
Uh,
you kind of have to let go of it. Bodybuilding, it's going to teach you that, less isn't better. You ideally want to be as heavy as possible on stage because then you have muscle.
Yep.
You really
Yes. Yeah.
shouldn't be the lean. If they tell you to come in leaner, yes, okay, yeah, whatever, that's important. But ideally, you should try to, if they tell you to build more muscle, then you want that scale to go up.
Yeah. Yeah. Even the last show, I remember, even though I won, I still wanted the feedback because I was like, here's my plan, here's where I'm going next. And they were like, okay, they were like, you look great, but you got to keep growing just a little more. I was like, okay. And then the next judge was like, you're borderline too hard. And I was like, okay, so I have to grow. But, it's like you sit there and you're like, okay, so what am I going to do?
It's an experiment
So
because
hard. It's so
it
hard.
like a judge is going to tell you what they think, but that might not be what actually ends up working. And that's
Right.
where it's hard. It's like, okay, yes, take the judge's feedback with a grain of salt. You and your coach have a game plan. So if a judge tells you leaner, fuller, whatever it is, you have to incorporate that. But you can't take it. They told me that I needed to put on size and come back 10 pounds with more muscle.
Right.
And you're going to be way out of the category, way out of it, right? When they tell you just to put on a little bit, does that mean, okay, next time I need to really pump my shoulders up before,
Yeah.
or let's peak differently. Let's really fill me out with carbs and still focus on building just a tiny bit of muscle. So maybe I
Yeah.
change the exercise selection, or maybe I work out less, but I lift heavier or something like
Yeah.
that. I mean, I think that's fun for me because it's always changing.
Yeah, I think it's really cool. It's like a little project
Yeah.
right now, which I think is fun. It's like we're tweaking, and right now we're focusing because I did come in with really strong obliques from CrossFit, and a wider waist
Yeah.
from lifting so heavy. And so right now, when I would fill out with too much food, then you get, especially after you've had kids, like your stomach, it's harder to control and hold my stomach in and make sure all that's looking perfect. So the goal this time is to really shrink my waistline. So I waist train every night. I sleep in it for 8 hours.
Oh,
Um,
okay. Hold on. All right.
yeah.
Everyone.
So we do it.
Okay.
Yeah, we do it at night. And I'm going to say, so my waist was like 27 and something, and I'm a little under 25 inches now. My
Okay. I'm
waist is
writing
like,
notes right now just to let you know. Okay. Sleep in waist trainer.
yeah, like
Okay.
I just can't, I don't know if it works for everyone, but it is like, like my waist has gone in. So I don't wear it training or anything, but I wear it when I sleep.
What type of waist trainer?
I do the squeeze me skinny.
Okay.
So I started with a medium. That's how like wide my waist was. and I have an extra small one now. Like I had to
Yeah.
order it really it works, but you have to be so consistent, and obviously you have to be, eating right and everything too. But I can like hold when I pose now, I've noticed I can hold my waist in. Like I can hold my stomach in now. Like I kind of understand
Yeah.
how to do that. So
So
he
this,
was like, let's just try this. Sometimes it'll wash out your abs. And he's like, if we see that, and
yeah.
then we're not going to do it. But it hasn't really done that.
Well,
It's
I'm
taken
glad
my
that
own.
you're saying this because um it there's so much controversy about waist trainers. There is.
Mhm.
And it'll squeeze your organs because I'm pro waist trainer. Squeeze your
Yeah.
organs, it's not healthy for you, blah blah blah. But okay, I'm telling you, it works. And we're not
It
blind,
works.
but it works with diet, exercise. It works. It's just an added tool, and it's not going to. If you just waist train, it kind of will. But if you are competing where your physique is important, having a small waist isn't important, you're getting inches, like you said, 2 inches. So
2 inches. And
that's
I
a
think I've been doing
lot.
it since December.
I mean, that's honestly, it's not a lot of time, but 2 inches, that
Yeah.
is significant. That is,
And it's significant in my pictures. It's like,
yeah,
oh wow, yeah,
structurally, that is like, if you could get 2 inches on your glutes or on your waist or your, like, that is a lot when it comes to shaping on stage. 2 inches is a lot. And so that, like, you're going after inches in a physique sport. You're
yeah.
trying to visually look and create shapes where you
That
have
shape,
the
yeah.
shape. And how do we create the illusion of a small waist or actually having a small waist?
Mm,
We got to build those shoulders up bigger so our
yeah.
waist looks smaller, and we want our glutes to project out more so our waist looks smaller, or we can bring in the waist.
Right. So it's like
That's
I can't really. My back is way overdeveloped, in my trap, so I couldn't really sit there and build that out more. And
yeah.
like my glutes are going out, so it was like when I looked at the last stage photos, I was like, I gotta fix my waist. Like
Yeah.
that's what I have to fix.
Okay, I'm doing
Because
this. I'm doing
otherwise I'm
this
on
now.
stage like trying to
And
like
I'm
turn and
sure
pose.
okay, I'm sure there's some doctor out there that's gonna hear this and be like, oh my God, your breathing and your organs and your digestion. Do you have any issues digesting food?
No, none.
All
And
right.
I'm eating, and I know there's all controversy on how much protein, but you have to remember I'm a
Here's
bigger girl. So
yeah,
I have to eat a lot of food, and I'm not 125 pound competitor. I'm 145, 155 pound competitor. So
yeah,
I put in a lot of food, and the protein I had to play around with so that I didn't have digestion problems. So like in one meal has the protein powder in it, another meal has egg whites, and then the rest will be, usually I stay with chicken because I've learned that that's just good for me.
yeah. I mean, I'm the same way. I'll have my breakfast, it's like a protein powder, and then I have like a Ninja Cream. So I have like protein powders is it, or I'll use an egg white source. And then I
Hmm.
have my like lunch and dinners with actual meat, and I'll rotate between ground turkey, lean beef, or
Yeah, I think you have to like play around with, for digestion purposes.
yeah,
And I take like a fiber. It's like a little, who makes it? Project 80. It's like a fiber drink in the morning. And
yeah,
I put that in, like a greens blend also. So it kind of keeps me regular too, because I don't eat enough fiber in my diet. I do mostly like cucumbers, asparagus bothers me. So it's
yeah.
mostly cucumbers for my greens part.
It works for
But
you.
it works, in the morning I'll do spinach. I do that protein, that pancake that Laura Lee posts. I do that in the morning now, and I love that. It really fills me up.
Yeah, I used to do like the whole pancake, spinach, egg whites, protein powder,
Yep.
whatever else, oats sometimes blended, make it
Oats. I put my
pancake.
oats in it. Yeah.
it's really good. Like
Yeah,
it's
it's
actually,
really good. It looks gross, like, but it's really good. My kids even like it. They started asking for it. I'm like, just try it. And and now to get like more carbs in, like I've had to add, like I put honey on things because I can't drink the intra carbs.
yeah,
Those do upset my stomach.
yeah.
So, um, but back to the waist training question, no problem with the digestion.
Okay.
Nothing.
But
I don't notice anything.
consistency I know is important because I ran an experiment where I stopped wearing my waist trainer to see if it would make a difference. And it did. I was probably an inch up on my waist measurements, but
Hmm.
um I didn't really experience anything differently. Like I didn't think my abs didn't get stronger, my weights, it didn't
No,
really do anything, but I did, my waist kind of got it went back to its normal state when I
to its
stopped
normal.
wearing
And yeah, I think it will. It's probably not a permanent. I don't
solution.
know. Maybe
I
it is.
don't know either. But I've
I'm just
always,
gonna keep going with it until.
yeah, if it's working,
Yeah.
and I've done the squeeze me skinnies. I have them, but I have them in different sizes because my waist naturally gets a little bit thicker in the off season. So sometimes
Yeah.
those extra small ones, I only will be able to get into them when I'm leaner and my waist is going down anyway. So I have different ones that I'll use. Like I have three different ones. I have the extra 3X small, 2X small, X small, whatever it is. And so I'll have my
Yeah.
off season one, then it's like the beginning of the cut, then at the very end, if I can get that, the notches in there where it
Yeah, oh my gosh. Learning how to use it is like, whew. And I mean, it is uncomfortable. So in bodybuilding is uncomfortable, right? So it's like you kind of just have to be comfortable with being uncomfortable. If you want, like, you really want it, I always tell people, like, you'll do it. You'll sleep in a waist trainer.
yeah,
Is it, I mean, I don't have a husband laying next to
yeah,
me, so I don't know if that would be if I, I don't know, like, it's just me. So I'm like, I guess it's not
yeah,
my lifestyle allows for this right now.
yeah.
So,
I like it. Okay, so is there
yeah.
any other piece of advice or anything about your fitness journey that we haven't got into that you wanted to talk about?
Um, Not really. I think we talked about most of the fitness journey. I will say though, like if there's anyone out there that's 40 and they're like, "Oh, I can't start now, I'm too old." I did not start working out until I was 40 years old. Like I well, that's wrong. So like 30, 38 or 39, I walked into my first CrossFit gym. So I was a dancer. I danced for the University of Kentucky, and then I was a Atlanta Falcons cheerleader after that. So I cheered, but that's not like I wasn't like in a sport, or I wasn't used to going to a gym. I had never lifted a weight. I was just naturally like, oh, had like a okay body, you know. So when I after I had like my kids, I was like, I really want to get in shape. So it's never too late to start. And I think people need to know that. You know, I hate when I hear people say, "Well, I just need to get in shape first." Right? No, just start. Just do it.
Yeah, I
You'll be amazed. I mean,
yeah.
as long as you're consistent, you can change your body when you're 40.
Yes. Yes. And I like 40, 50, 60, 70. It does not
Yeah,
matter when you're starting. It matters that you're starting somewhere.
right.
And
Yeah,
I tell my mom this all the time. I'm like, she's 55 and she's stubborn. She's like, oh, I'm too old. My body's different. When you're older, you'll understand. I just don't have that energy. I'm not strong like you. It's like, you're not strong because you don't train. So
yeah,
you could get strong, but
yeah,
it's a different thing too. So I'm glad that you're able, like obviously, like I can see your shoulders right now. They look really good. I can see your abs coming through. They look really good. So yeah, it's never too late to start. And it's just simply going and being consistent with it. It does take time. So don't expect
yes, yes.
overnight. It does
Hmm.
take
I would
time.
say it was like 4 years of muscle growth.
Yeah. See,
I
okay.
mean,
That's what
to
you're,
get like this physique was like 4 years of building muscle.
and I know when people hear that, they like they might think, oh my God, I don't want to waste, like, oh, I don't have 4 years or whatever. But it just starts small. Like I remember when I first started, within 4 weeks, the water weight was gone, that bloating
Yeah.
was gone. I started
Yeah.
drinking a gallon every day and just working out 5 days a week and just doing a little bit of cardio. That first
Hmm.
30 days of just being consistent on nutrition, water, and training
Yes.
changed
Yeah. Yeah. My
so
coach was
much.
like, when he did the intake, he's like, you have to be honest. I was like, I drink wine every night. He's like, okay, well, I was like, it's hard. Like, I come home and I have to like decompress, and then the kids. And he's like, well, how much wine? And I'm like, well, it's like you start with one glass at 5 o'clock, and then it was like, before you know it, you're 3 glasses of wine by the end of the night. I mean, do you know how many calories that is? And then you're bloated, and then your skin looks bad, and just everything. Like, it was night and day. I think it was like within like the first 2 weeks, my weight dropped so fast. And I was like, I really think it's like I just cutting that alcohol out alone was huge, and putting the water in. I never drank water.
Yes. A lot of people don't drink enough water, and it's the alcohol is so big, and it's the first thing that people don't want to give up. I
I
can't,
know, but
I,
you gotta, people have to experience life without alcohol. It's like, and I still drink. I'm not saying I don't drink.
yeah,
Like, I'll put it in now if I'm gonna, sorry if my coach is listening. No, he knows, but I mean, I'll have like, if we have a celebration, or I have like a free meal, like I will have a glass of wine, or I'll have um a martini or something every now and then, but it's not something I abuse or.
yes. Yeah. It's prep. It just teaches you the importance of like the day before, what your decisions of the day before impact your training. So I know today, if I ate like shit and I drank and I didn't get good sleep yesterday, I'm not going to be my best and be able to perform today.
No.
So it's
Like,
just,
imagine how you feel like when you're at the gym hungover trying to lift weights. Oh my gosh, I remember after like New Year's this year, I went out and I was like, I can't train. I just physically like, and I was like, I can't believe I used to just function like this.
mhm. Yeah, I was the same way where it was like going out and binge drinking. It wasn't every night, but it was
Yeah.
like, once or twice a week where go out and just drink heavily shot, like mixing alcohol makes me sick, makes me want to throw
Have
up right
chicken
now.
fingers and fries late
Yes,
at night.
going out, like going out is one thing, but then it's like staying up late and eating greasy fried food late at night. Your
Yep.
digestion is thrown off, your sleep is thrown off. The next day, you're dehydrated. If you don't get enough water in, you feel crappy, your mood is not great, you just are grouchy and mean. And so the only thing that would make you feel better is if you drank again, and then it's this whole
Or
cycle
ate,
of
yeah, or ate bad food. Yeah, it was horrible. Oh my
yeah, and
God.
it starts, so it's the same, it's the opposite, right? So I drink a gallon of water, which makes me feel good. So I want to continue to feel good. So now I have energy and I want to train, and that made me feel good. So I want to eat good. And then it just keeps on going and going and going. So I'm glad that you're able to share a little bit about your journey. I have one final question for you. Are you team cupcake? Are you team protein shake?
Protein shake. I don't
And
like sweets. I'm one of those weird people. Oh, I
uh,
never did. I
it's
know.
okay. That's all right. But if you were, or what is your favorite brand protein? What is your favorite type?
I drink that. I think it's called like Gold Standard, the
Yep.
vanilla cupcake one. It's like birthday or vanilla cupcake
Yes. Good.
flavor. So
I
I
like
love
it.
it.
Okay.
Yes.
And if anyone wants to follow up with you this year or watch your journey, where can they find you?
I'm on Instagram. I think it's public now, which was a little nerve-wracking for me, but it's Julie underscore Taylor underscore fit. So that's my maiden name is Taylor. So
All
yeah.
right. Well, thanks for coming on and sharing your story with us today.
Thanks, and I'll see you at the Arnold.
I
We'll
will.
have to design a suit.
Yes, I'm gonna have, it's the Arnold is gonna be such a fun time. I have
I'm so excited.
Yeah, we're gonna be there. Are the fashion shows obviously going on, but like booths, I have all the velvet bikini, like all the posing suits and different
Oh,
things.
I saw those.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, and I have all my colors, so we'll have to pick.
Excited. Yeah, I
Yeah,
was gonna bring I'll bring the color that they kind of said to stay with, but I've never had like a really nice suit. Like they were like okay.
yeah.
So yeah, so I'll kind of bring it and we can play around and that'll
Okay.
be fun. I'm gonna be working at a booth as well, a powerlifting booth.
Oh,
So
what
I
booth?
know yeah, they're like weight belts and stuff, but
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. Come the okay. If you guys are listening to this, the Arnold is a really good time. So we'll obviously be there. Come say hi to us. And like all the expos, I just like to try protein things. So
I know my friend's like that too. When she walks around, I'm like, you're making me sick,
I
making me
know,
try all these things.
I know,
But
like all
it's
the protein. It's like, okay, I want to try this protein bar and this Pop Tart and this
yeah.
whatever.
Remember
And
those little like there was like these little pancakes at the Olympia? Oh
with
my
the
gosh.
chocolatey things in them.
Yes. Oh my
I,
gosh. I made my friend go up. I'm like, you have to go up because I'm like 6 feet tall and they're gonna recognize me.
yeah, I know.
You go
I
get
was
it.
like, hey, can I have another one of these? They're really good. Thank you.
I think.
All right. Thank you for coming on.
All right. Thank you, Savannah.